All right, party people, how we doing? I need you to let me know if live video is up and working. So let me know. Okay, I think we're up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get started. First of all, let me thank all of our leaders who have gone before me. So Caroline Foster, Liz Patton, Caren Fair, Patrice Buller. Is it Buller? I always want to say Bueller. I know it's not Bueller, but there you have it. So I'm really excited to be able to chat 4-day follow-up with you. And so it's this idea that when you are initiating conversations, when you're inviting, when you're doing all of these, incredible activities that build your business, one of the places where people get stuck is in following up. How long do I wait before I follow up? How many times do I follow up? And so it's this whole principle. If you guys know, it's great when family comes in town or when you go to visit family or even some friends, but you know how they say everything stinks after 4 days? Okay. So it's this idea that within 4 days of your initial invitation, as a general rule of thumb, the idea is for you to be able to have a clear yes or no. Because no isn't bad. Yes is better. We like yeses. No isn't bad. The worst answer that you can possibly have is, I don't know. I don't know if they got the information. I don't know if they understood what I said. I don't know if they want to join. I don't know if they hate me. I don't know if I came on too strong. I don't know if they understand. I don't know is the worst answer that you can possibly have for yourself and for the people that you're dealing with. And so let's figure out a way to where in 4 days from the initial invitation, you know yes or no. So the main thing that I need to encourage you to do is to ditch technology and to get on the phone as soon as possible. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because the average person is exposed to 3,000 commercial messages a day. 3,000, okay? 3,000. That means, and so if you think that that's an exaggeration, I'm going to encourage you to spend 10 minutes scrolling social media and see if out of 4 posts, 3 aren't trying to convince you to buy something, think something. Like when we say commercial messages, they are trying to influence you to believe or purchase. And so with 3,000 commercial messages that people are exposed to a day, can you really think for a second about what a difference it would make if you weren't just simply marketing on social media, but you were having a conversation with an actual person? And so the biggest thing that you can do is voice to voice makes you friends, not a salesperson to a potential customer. When you get on the phone and they hear your kids in the background or you hear their kids or it's nap time and you're both that allows you to be able to break down some walls to where you're, again, not just a salesperson on their Instagram feed or on their Facebook feed, but you are a friend. And so after your initial phone call, which, and I'm going to initial contact, I'm going to encourage you to do the phone as much as possible. Caren and Patrice both did an incredible job of sharing with you about inviting. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is before you get off with that conversation, say, hey, listen, I'm going to send you some information, whatever that means. If you're going to send them a video that you've created, if you're going to send them an email, whatever that looks like, and then say, when would you like for me to follow up with you? Would you prefer tomorrow? So if I was talking to somebody today, I'd say, hey, listen, do you want me to follow up with you tomorrow? Or do you want me to wait until Monday? Because I don't work on Sundays. And so it's literally this idea of I'm giving them a choice of when I'm going to contact them. So they know if I'm sending them that email or I'm sending them that video, they have a deadline in which they need to watch it so that I can come back and then I can get their feedback on that. So again, you've got to make sure within that they're clear on their action step. Is there a video they need to watch? Do they need to read an email? Do they need to talk with their husband about price? Whatever it is that is holding them back from making a decision right then and there, They need to know what they need to have done or have decided before they talk with you again. So remember, it is not their job to follow up with you. It is your job to follow up with them. You are leading them, so that means you are the conversation driver. Okay, so you are either going to say, how would you like for me to contact you? Do you want me to email you? Do you want me to text you? Do you want me to call you? Like, is that which three do you want me to do? And so you're literally letting them choose how and when you contact them. And so again, it is putting that in their preference line, which is going to increase your chances of communicating with them again. And so now, here's the thing. Let's talk about follow-ups. Let's say, what do you do if they flake? If they flake on your phone call or your follow-up time. So what I would do is I would reach out in a different way. If I text and they don't respond, if I call and they don't answer, if I email and they don't reply, then I would reach out in a different way and I would absorb the blame. Because again, I'm the conversation driver. I'm the leader. And so in order to shield them from embarrassment if they forgot or if their answer was no and they just felt bad and they thought maybe they could dodge me and get out of it, I force people to tell me no, y'all. But if that's going to happen, I'm going to absorb the blame. I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm so sorry we missed each other. Maybe I got our time wrong. Is this still, Heather Waldorf is saying she flaked. Yeah, she flaked hard. I had to basically threaten her to come to her work to get her to reply to me. True story. But reach out in a different way, accept the blame, and then say, can we reschedule? And so if they did just flake on you because their answer was no, then they're much more likely to reply to this one. And you guys, you don't have to play bad cop here. If they flaked on you and they don't want to join and then they feel bad and they lie to you about it, who cares? It doesn't matter. So if they still don't reply to that, so this is when we are 4 days out. So I've reached out and I've tried to make the initial contact. Then after that, if they still don't respond and I reach out in a different way, now we're talking about we're 4 days after our initial invite, they still haven't responded, then I would send one last communication. And what it would say is simply like, hey, listen, I don't want to pressure you. I promised you in the beginning that I wouldn't do that. I always say that. I begin conversations where I'm like, hey, listen, joining my group, joining my team, it's not going to make me like you more or less. This is what I do. I'd love for you to join me, but I need you to know right now, there is no pressure. If you decide that this is not the right fit for you, it's cool. We can still be friends and I can still like you. So I kind of put the elephant in the room at the beginning, but then I want to say, like, I promise you that I wouldn't do that. So obviously this might not be the right time. But anyway, just wanted to let you know that if you ever decide that you want to join my group, try Shakeology, try Energize, if you ever decide that you want to do that again, I'll be here and I'm happy to help you. And so it's this whole idea of, hey, listen, I'm moving on. I'm not mad. It's all cool. If you decide that you want to do this in the future, then hey, I'm here and I'm happy to help you at any given point. So what the problem is it screams desperation when you keep chasing people who are ignoring you. No matter how interested they seemed the first time that you talked to them, no matter if they're the only person that you're talking to and you don't have anybody new to talk to you, but it literally just screams desperation. And so the more you chase people who are ignoring you, not only do you seem desperate, but now all of a sudden they start to doubt everything that you've told them. Because if you really had a great product, wouldn't you be busy with your other customers or other people that are interested instead of desperately trying to communicate with someone who's ignoring you? Like, we have to understand what our constant communication to the same people who are ignoring us, what that communicates to them. It communicates desperation and it creates doubt in them. And so 3 to 4 days, then I'm out. That's how I do it. So there's the initial call and schedule follow-up. That's what happens first. Then within 24 to 48 hours, initial follow-up, attempt to reschedule. And then if that doesn't work, then I do one last message. And I'll tell you, my favorite way to do this is either if I have their phone number or we're friends on Facebook, to use that voice memo message. So it's not just that they see my words, but they hear my voice. to where they really genuinely understand that I care, that I'm upbeat, and I'm not mad. And so it's literally just, hey, listen, I don't want to pressure you. I promised you that I wouldn't do that, but it's obvious that this might not be the best time for you right now. So I just wanted you to know, no hard feelings, no big deal. But if you ever decide that you want to join me in the future, I'll be here and I'm happy to help. Boom. To where, and a lot of times people will respond to that. They're like, hey, listen, you're right. Now's just not the right time. I really want to do a group in the future. So then again, because following up is on me, what I'll say is, cool, listen, when do you think would be a better time for me to reach out to you again? So if they say, listen, our summer's crazy, but after I get the kids back in school, maybe if you've got a group starting in September, I'd like to know about that. So I'm going to go in, open my planner, and in the beginning of September, I'm going to write down their name and their contact info and remind myself of what we talked about, to where when I'm starting to recruit for that group, guess who's going to reach out to them in September and initiate that conversation. I'm not going to rely on them to remember in September, because guess what happens when you do that? People are shocked that you remembered them. They're shocked. I've told this story a bajillion times, but I had so many people that the reason why they would give me that they didn't want to join my group is because they didn't have time to commit to a workout plan. And so I actually track my no's in an Excel document, and I always try to find out why. Was it price? Was it whatever? Because guess what? If it's price and that program went on sale, guess who I'm going to contact? If it is, I don't have time. When T25 came out and it was 25-minute workouts, I had over 300 people on my no list that I was able to reach out to say, hey, listen, I know when we had talked before, you said you didn't have time to work out. I've got a workout that's 5 days a week, 25 minutes only. What do you think? And I was pregnant with Cole, couldn't do T25 myself, and that is still the highest amount of Success Club points that I've ever had, was that month that program came out, because I had so many people on my no list. And I was floored at how many people were just shocked that I remembered them, I remembered our conversation, and I still wanted to help them. All right, so now let's talk about what if this is a person in your real life and what if you see them in person. And so when they're like, oh man, why didn't you stay on me? I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to join, like whatever, because I promise you, you'll find that people will do this. And so within that, I'll say, listen, I'm so sorry, but when you didn't respond to my messages, I genuinely didn't want to bug you. I had other people that were ready to get started, and so I needed to work with them. But if you're ready now, then I'm happy to help. And so it's this thing that I learned from Christine Dwyer, who is my grandmother in this business. She calls it the I don't need you posture. And if you're a really nice person like Liz Patton, then that language really kind of bothers you. So before it bothers you, let me explain to you what it means. The I don't need you posture is really necessary in recruiting customers and team members, which we will talk about next week. But if you're looking for people who need you, then the second they feel like you need them, then I don't want to say that gives them the power in the conversation, but it takes away who's leading from the dynamic. And so you have to trust that you're going to help people. That is your mission. That's why we're here, to sharpen one another and to serve in health. We're going to help people. And so it's their choice if they decide if they're going to be one of the people that you're going to help. It's their decision. And so putting that in there of saying, hey, listen, whether you decide to join or not, I'm going to run this group, and the group that does this is going to get incredible results, and I'm super excited about it. And so there's a different level of ownership of your purpose that comes in when you have the I don't need you posture. Because if you're just desperate for people to grab onto, and you'll take anybody in there, it just changes how people communicate with you. And so it's not that we don't want them. We want to help everybody. But as far as, do I have a greater purpose for what I'm going to do that's not dependent on what this person decides? Absolutely. I'm going to run this group whether or not that person joins or not. I'm going to do a great job with this group whether you join or not. I'm going to grow my business, and I'm going to live out this created purpose whether you decide to be a part of it or not. I want you to be here, but I'm not going to chase you in order to force you to do it or to create any of those feelings of desperation or ickiness at all. So that is the 4-day follow-up. Are there any questions while you guys are here live? Questions about following up? Happy Friday morning, by the way. This is my first cup of coffee, mom life. First cup of coffee. I have been up for 4 hours, and this is my first cup of coffee. No chasing, keep serving. Drop the microphone, Hannah. That is right. By the way, congrats to you. You are killing it right now, and I love it. It's so fun. Let's see here. So motivational. I'm going to run this group regardless. Yes, you guys, your purpose is, if what you do is dependent upon one person, it's dependent on one, but it's not a person. Okay, you haven't had yours. Yes. Okay, you understand. All right. Well, you guys, that's it. So here's the deal. I'm going to be with you on Monday. And on Monday, we will be chatting all about presenting the business. And so if presenting the business is something that has stressed you out, I know a lot of people have said, I'm not recruiting right now. I don't know how to recruit. Like, I'm going to talk to you about how to do less presentations and have more conversations in terms of the business, to where you can put the business in front of people without feeling like you have to have a big fancy presentation. And then next Wednesday evening, leaders, I don't think that we've officially decided on a time for that yet, but I think it might be 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So that would be 7:45 Central, 5:45 Pacific Standard Time, and Mountain Time 6:45. So okay, so if you are watching the recording and you have more questions, don't hesitate to tag me and ask. I'm happy to help. But that's all for me today. So see, quick, in, out, 4-day follow-up. Everything stinks after 4 days. Don't let it happen. Okay, we love you. You guys are doing fantastic. I'm so proud of just the momentum that I'm seeing in your businesses. It's so much fun to see those check-ins, so please keep them coming. We are super, super proud of you. So, and just remember this too, and we talk about this a lot, but if you have not worked your business in a while and this is kind of your first time coming back into the business, remember that so many times this month's work is next month's paycheck. And so don't think because nobody's bought it yet that it's not working. I promise you it's working. I promise you it is. You just got to hang on and be faithful and the fruit will come. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. See you soon.